There, guitar fans. So as part of my expansion of my YouTube channel, which I've been promising to do for many years and have never gotten around to it, but I'm going to be including, along with my jam camp prep and some occasional playing samples, some of the basic lessons and tips that I pass on to my beginning students. Not only so that they can have a place to refer to those things outside of the actual lessons, but also I think these things will help anybody who's starting out on the guitar and struggling with the usual problems of getting your fingers to move and all the kinds of things that we're trying to do. So anyway, this is a very simple exercise. I really haven't seen it much anyplace else, which is not to say that I made it up, but I tell everybody how to work with this, and in fact it does help a lot in terms of trying to get your left hand to move, or sorry, your fretting hand to move more freely. So what I'm doing here is I'm just fingering a regular old E major chord. Okay. Now you're not even going to play the notes while you're doing this. You're just going to hold your hand in a good position. So you notice that you've got your fingers, or you want to have your fingers nice and rounded over, your thumb not too high. There's no reason for it to be over the neck. So depending on how long your thumb is and how your hand flexes and so on, make sure that your thumb is in balance with your fingers, because it's the opposition that your fingers need to do the work that they're trying to do. So all you're going to do is just pick up your first finger to start with a little bit and just go back and forth. And each time you push down the string, you want to apply enough pressure to fret the note. Okay? What you're doing is you're giving your brain a chance to get used to addressing all the fingers independently. Okay? So while the second and third fingers remain in place, the first finger is just kind of pushing up and down like this. Okay? Do the same thing with the second finger. Okay? And you'll hear, especially on a guitar with light strings, you might make enough noise when you hit the string to produce a little bit of a fret sound like that. That's fine. That tells you that you're getting enough pressure, probably even a little too much. Do the same thing then finally with your third finger. Okay? That's the one you'll probably find most awkward. It has good strength, but it lacks flexibility, so we have to work with that. Okay? Now, next you're going to consider two fingers at a time. So let's start with fingers 1 and 2. Now, the gold standard for being able to change chords as a strummer, and in many other playing styles, but particularly when you're strumming rhythm, is you got to be able to lift your fingers off the fretboard and land them on the new chord all at the same time. They've got to come off together and land together. So when I pick up my first and second fingers, if you can see this in the video, I want them really synchronized. Okay, so I'm doing fingers 1 and 2 while 3 remains in place. All right. Now 1's in place, and I'm doing the same thing with fingers 2 and 3. Okay. And finally 2 will remain in place, and fingers 1 and 3 will go together. Now, when you're doing this and you're giving 100% of your attention to your fretting hand this way, you're going to find that some of those fingers individually or in combination are more awkward to move, and that's a good thing to know about. That's showing you what you really need to work on, and also helping you pinpoint the stuff that's causing you problems when you're trying to fret this chord to begin with and make it sound clean on its own, and then combine it with other chords in chord patterns. And then the last step, of course, is to pick up all 3 fingers at once and land them at once. So you can see, I hope from the video, that part of the technique that you're trying to acquire there is you want to be able to maintain the shape of the chord while your fingers are in the air. Okay, so pick them up together, land them together. When we learn these things, it's perfectly normal to think finger, finger, finger. You address the fingers one at a time as you're learning to play the chord. But if you get stuck with that, it's always going to take you literally 3 times as long to change the chord, even if you're very quick, as it will if you can do them all at one time. Okay, so that's a very cool thing to get into. Try to get that. It's going to require a lot of patience knowing this exercise and others like it. There's no quick fix for this kind of stuff, but it should really help. So good luck with this, and I hope that it helps your playing. Thanks.